Savannah, we need to talk. I've been hearing things, rumors about the inheritance. Tell me the truth. Who does the money belong to?
Ethan, I can't believe you're asking me this now. Right after my father's funeral? It's not the right time.
No, Savannah, I want answers. Don't dodge the question. Did you inherit everything? Are you the one who will be rolling in millions?
No, it's not like that. Ethan, you're my fiance. You're going to stand by me no matter what, right?
Yes, but only if you trust me. Tell me what happened with your father's money.
My sister, Harper. Harper got everything. I didn't receive anything. It's all hers.
What? Really?
Yes, but that doesn't matter, right? Ethan, why are you silent? What's wrong?
So, you're the worthless one in your family, huh? The black sheep who couldn't even get a penny from her own father's fortune?
Ethan, why are you being so cruel? Can't you see how much pain I am in? I just lost my father, and now you're attacking me like this?
Maybe you brought this upon yourself, Savannah.
What are you talking about?
If you were worth anything, your family would have recognized it. But they didn't, did they? Maybe I'm better off with someone who actually deserves love and success.
How can you say that? We were supposed to support each other through thick and thin. I needed you.
Well, you should take some time to sort things out, Savannah. I don't like to deal with your mess. Going to bed now. Good night.
My name is Savannah, and for the longest time, I called a bustling city my home, where I lived together with my fiance Ethan. We were planning for our dream wedding, and we couldn't be more excited. It was a place in my life where I simply thrived, and each day seemed to overflow with excitement and opportunities. Amidst the hustle and bustle, there was a part of my life that carried a terrible weight, a strange relationship that had persisted since my childhood. That relationship was with my younger sister Harper and my mom. Throughout our lives, Harper and I struggled to find common grounds. It seemed that my mother held a special place in her heart for my sister. Perhaps it was because Harper chose a path that aligned with my mother's dreams. She became a teacher, just as my mom had always hoped. In contrast, I held a different perspective, firmly believing that I had not been born solely to fulfill someone else's aspirations. That was probably why my mom had always been so displeased with me, down to the smallest choices I made in life. I had built a stable and reliable career for myself, dedicating my time and effort to my job. Despite my endeavors, I couldn't escape the feeling that Harper was always perceived as the favored child. It was as if I was continuously swimming against the tide, striving to prove myself while never getting any recognition. Thankfully, I found happiness in the warmth of my relationship with my father, a renowned businessman. My father was a pillar of support, always understanding and accepting me for who I was. In his eyes, I didn't need to conform or fulfill any expectations. He cherished my individuality, allowing me the freedom to forge my own path in life. My mom and dad often engaged in heated arguments over how to raise Harper and me, while my mother advocated for a more structured approach. My father encouraged independence and self discovery. As a result, Harper and I found it hard to get along with each other too. But as I reflect on those early days, I can't help but wonder how these dynamics would shape our future. Little did I know that the events unfolding in the coming days would challenge us all, testing the bonds of family and revealing the depth of our conflict. Life had an unpredictable way of leading us down unforeseen paths. A devastating blow struck our lives just a few short weeks before my wedding. My father, the unwavering beacon of strength, tragically passed away, leaving a void that seemed impossible to fill. Ethan and I made the difficult decision to postpone our wedding, allowing time for healing and grieving. Plus, the family needed to come together to hold a respectable funeral too. Amidst the anguish, a surprising revelation emerged. It came to my attention that my father had left behind an inheritance, an incredibly large sum of 30 million. The news rippled through our family, bringing with it a mixture of astonishment and even a touch of anxiety. Suddenly, the details of my father's will became a focal point, and we found ourselves in countless discussions with a lawyer dealing with the complexities of the legal process. As the weight of the inheritance settled upon my shoulders, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of emotions. On one hand, there was an undeniable sense of gratitude, acknowledging the financial security it would bring to my life and the opportunities it could present. Yet at the same time, this fortune seemed almost surreal, leaving me with conflicting emotions. Ethan's reaction specifically caught my attention and raised concerns with me. While we dealt with the loss of my father, his response seemed strangely detached. In his excitement over the inheritance, he appeared to forget the depth of my grief, causing me to worry. It was as though he had lost sight of the pain and mourning that enveloped me because he was too focused on the newfound wealth. At the moment, I couldn't help but question the foundation of our relationship. Would this newfound wealth bring us closer together or expose the conflicts that had quietly been forming beneath the surface? As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the inheritance remained a puzzle that needed to be understood. We were in a big mess. To make matters worse, it seemed like Ethan was getting more and more curious about inheritance. One night, he sat me down and confronted me. It made me deeply uncomfortable from the second he opened his mouth.
Savannah, we need to talk. I've been hearing things, rumors about the inheritance. Tell me the truth. Who does the money belong to?
Ethan, I can't believe you're asking me this now. Right after my father's funeral? It's not the right time.
No, Savannah, I want answers. Don't dodge the question. Did you inherit everything? Are you the one who will be rolling in millions?
No, it's not like that. Ethan, you're my fiance. You're going to stand by me no matter what, right?
Yes, but only if you trust me. Tell me what happened with your father's money.
Overwhelmed by his reaction, I found myself in the middle of a panic attack. Little did he know that I had decided to take a risky step. I told him a lie to shield myself from his judgment. I knew that I had a part in the inheritance, but for some reason I didn't want to tell him that. My sister Harper got everything. I didn't receive anything. It's all hers.
What? Really?
Yes, but that doesn't matter, right? Ethan, why are you silent? What's wrong? As the words left my lips, there was a heavy silence. After that, what unfolded before my eyes left me utterly stunned. Ethan's face twisted into a wicked smile. At that moment, he revealed a side of himself that I never witnessed before. An ugly facet fueled by greed. I was scared.
So, you're the worthless one in your family, huh? The black sheep who couldn't even get a penny from her own father's fortune?
Ethan, why are you being so cruel? Can't you see how much pain I am in? I just lost my father, and now you're attacking me like this?
Maybe you bought this upon yourself, Savannah.
What are you talking about?
If you were worth anything, your family would have recognized it, but they didn't, did they? Maybe I'm better off with someone who actually deserves love and success.
How can you say that? We were supposed to support each other. Through thick and thin, I needed you.
Well, you should take some time to sort things out, Savannah. I don't like to deal with your mess. Going to bed now. Good night.
The weight of his scorn cut deep, carving wounds into my wounded heart. I found myself devastated, and I couldn't believe those words came from someone that I cared for so deeply. Despite having hurt me so badly, Ethan offered no apology. In that moment of abandonment, his betrayal crashed over me like a tidal wave, leaving me completely broken. The following day was even worse. Ethan continued to accuse me of being unworthy of love, and then he moved out of our shared space, leaving behind echoes of his accusations. Alone and broken, I found myself standing alone, struggling to comprehend how love could turn sour so fast. It was the worst phase in my life, and I didn't know how to move on from there. Devastation weighed heavily upon my spirit. Ethan's betrayal had left me shattered, but I refused to allow myself to be trapped in despair. With determination, I seized control of my own destiny, aiming towards self improvement, both in my personal and professional life. Fortunately, I somehow found peace in reconnecting with old friendships. Their unwavering support and understanding provided a glimmer of hope, like a lifeline in the darkest of days. During this period, I encountered an old family friend that really changed everything. This acquaintance, once close to my mother, spoke with bitterness about her. She claimed that my mother was a witch, using harsh language to describe my mom's selfishness. She even said that their friendship had been broken because she could not befriend someone so obsessed with their own personal gain. She said that my mom had been secretly taking money out of my father's fund for her own personal purposes, and my dad was too soft and loving to make a big deal out of it. I found myself torn between conflicting emotions: anger, betrayal, and an overwhelming sense of injustice. I couldn't believe that my mom would have done such a thing. I knew that I was not her favorite daughter, but to steal money away from my dad and me was such a terrible act. It seemed increasingly possible that my mother had already begun dipping into my father's inheritance, despite the fact that the legal proceedings were far from concluded, or perhaps she was the one who intentionally made it last so long just so she could be stealing more money off records. I was filled with doubt. With a resolute determination, I was on a quest gathering documents and evidence that would answer all the questions I had. Each piece of information became a puzzle piece in the larger picture that I was assembling. I sought guidance from legal experts just to make sure I was well prepared. With their guidance, I could be confident that justice would prevail. The process was difficult, filled with endless nights looking through heaps and heaps of documents. I was finally having some hope that things were looking up for me, but boy was I wrong. A devastating revelation shattered my world once again. The shocking news reached my ears. Ethan, my once beloved fiance, had been having an affair with Harper, my own sister. The betrayal cut deep. How could they? The two people I held so close to my soul commits such an act of betrayal? It was another beautiful afternoon when I received a call from Ethan, as if he just could not leave me to have my peace. His voice on his phone pained me the moment I heard it.
Savannah, we need to talk. I can't hide this any longer. There's something I need to tell you.
What is it?
I've been seeing someone else, Savannah. It's Harper. I never meant for this to happen, but our connection grew, and I couldn't deny my feelings anymore.
What? Are you kidding me?
I know it's difficult to understand, Savannah, but Harper and I share a connection that I can't ignore. She's everything I've always wanted, beautiful, gentle, and so different from you.
But she's literally my sister. My sister, Ethan.
She's just more compatible with me, Savannah. It's about finding the right fit, and I believe that fit is with Harper.
At this point, I couldn't even talk to him anymore. The weight of his words crushed me. It was a blow that tested the very limits of my resilience. To add insult to injury, Harper flaunted her new relationship by purchasing Ethan a lavish shiny car as a display of her affection. I bet the act was fueled by the money from the inheritance. Though the legal proceedings for her own share had not yet concluded, it seemed clear to me that she was utilizing my portion of the funds to brag about her new boyfriend. It was a deliberate act to mock and hurt me further, and to reinforce her control over both Ethan's heart and my emotions. I couldn't believe what was unraveling in front of me. They were all trying to hurt me. But even amidst the storm, a quiet voice within me whispered, urging me to persevere. It reminded me that justice could be found, and I could not give up after having gone through so much. In the meantime, my legal advisors had been delving deep into my father's will. They discovered a hidden clause that had remained concealed all this time. It explicitly stated that if either Harper or my mother dared to touch a single cent of my money without my permission, their actions would be met with severe consequences. All of the inheritance would then belong to me. My dad had foreseen everything. Gathering my courage, I stood before Harper and my mother and sued them for their fraud. From that moment on, a series of legal battles happened, each step taken with a single purpose: to regain control of my rightful inheritance and expose their deception to the world. The courtroom became my battleground, and I was doing everything I could to win. Eventually, after countless days, I won the case. The truth rang out, piercing through the facade my mother and sister had clung to. I finally regained control of my rightful inheritance, but it wasn't merely the wealth that mattered. It was the reclamation of my integrity and the exposure of their true colors. As the truth unfolded before him, Ethan was forced to confront his mistakes. Regret washed over him, but it was too late to undo the irreparable damage he had caused. He was with my sister, who was broke and bitter, and no longer the sweet, loving woman she pretended to be. He left her almost immediately, but I knew I would never take him back. With the support of my loyal friends and the newfound resilience that had blossomed within me, I had charted a new course of my life. I emerged from the darkness stronger than ever before. The wounds that I had transformed into resilience reminded me of the strength I had found within myself. The journey taught me invaluable lessons about trust, self-worth, and the importance of forging my own path. I am now so proud of myself for everything that I had been through, knowing that I deserve so much better now.